Back to Iowa Live for this Friday is upon us. Looking forward to the weekend, Jackie, but also looking forward to letting you know about some pretty cool events that happened around central Iowa as late as last night.
Yeah, and some pretty amazing guests we're lucky to have in studio with us this morning, and someone very familiar to our audience, but we haven't seen you for a while. We're talking about U.S. Senator Paul Strauss. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
Where have you been? We've been waiting for you.
Well, I've been in Washington, D.C., where, you know, one or two things have kept us busy. But I'm glad to be back here, particularly as the eyes of the nation are again turning to Iowa. You have this unique role in our democracy where not just the candidates, but so many important issues get vetted by Iowa voters through the caucus process in this high visibility campaign. And so we were just excited that my issue, D.C. Statehood, continues to enjoy expanding interest here in your great state.
Absolutely. Now, let's remind everybody, Senator, who do you represent in our country?
I represent over 700,000 American citizens who live in the capital of the United States, but they are denied equal voting representation in the Congress. So that means that when the election comes around, they get to vote for me or whoever they want as U.S. Senator. But then when I go to the Congress, I can't vote for them, nor can the members of the House of Representatives that we elect vote on behalf of D.C. residents, because D.C.'s not a state.
See, I think a lot of people don't realize that.
A lot of people don't realize that. You know, on our license plates, we talk about taxation without representation. That's kind of our non-state motto, as it were. It was the principle that our country's revolution was founded on, but it's the political reality for American citizens who live in Washington, D.C. We pay full federal taxes, but we're not represented with voting rights in the U.S. Congress, and that's just wrong. That's not how it should work. Every Iowan gets to be represented by 2 senators and a member of the House of Representatives, and they have a state government that represents the interests of the people here, or they can vote to change it if it doesn't, but they get to make decisions based on the best interests of the people in Iowa. If you live in Washington, D.C., and the government makes a decision based on the best interests of the people who live in Washington, D.C., members of Congress can change it if they disagree with the decisions that we make locally.
And they really have no vested interest in that.
They don't. They will occasionally vote on things, not so much because it's in the interest of our community, but maybe they're getting campaign contributions from a special interest group, or they're just trying out a program to sort of experiment on the people of D.C. like we're some kind of petri dish. But we're not. We're regular Americans. You know, people think that Washington, D.C. is some kind of government theme park full of monuments and nobody really lives there. But we've got a population that's bigger than the state of Vermont, bigger than the state of Wyoming, about the same size as Alaska, close to Delaware. But it's not really a numbers game. It's about equality. It's about giving us the same rights.
Well, it's kind of amazing that a location that basically makes all the decisions for the country isn't allowing the people that live in that community to make those same decisions.
No, we're not allowed to make decisions for ourselves. And you know, one of the principles of that Republicans like to talk about is they want smaller government. They want to create and support states' rights. They want to get the federal government out of things that they don't have their business in. But when it comes to Washington, D.C., they're a little bit comfortable letting that happen. But we really want the same things that everybody has: self-determination for our local community, equal representation in our government. We just want a chance to participate, just like the citizens of Iowa.
Now, does Washington, D.C. have something similar to a state government, or is it just a national?
We have an elected government. We have a legislative branch, which we call the Council of the District of Columbia. We have an executive who functions largely like a governor, although we call her our mayor. And we have elected commissioners that function not unlike the way county commissions would out here in your 99 counties. So we have a government, and what statehood would do is we simply shrink the size of the federal district so that there is a national capital under the exclusive jurisdiction of Congress, so that federal agencies can be under federal rules and police their own areas. But the rest of the city would get admitted to the Union as what we hope will be the 51st state.
So you would have to say we now have 51 states.
We do. We would have to say 51 states.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm wearing a pin.
I think I say you're wearing the pin, 51 now.
And I can tell you, when you look at this flag, which is actually a 51-star flag, most people can't tell the difference. You know, I spoke last night. I had the privilege of visiting your state capital yesterday, and I have to tell you, I've been in my fair share of state capitals, and that's always one of the most beautiful buildings. But the part that gets me, as I was going to the Secretary of State's office to see your Constitution, they have that wall of patriots, the people who've made the ultimate sacrifice for this country. And it talks about the wars and the places they've served and given their lives in defense of our nation. And we have a wall like that in D.C. And the color of the uniforms is the same. The people who are serving in uniform from Washington, D.C. are fighting alongside the citizens of the 50 states, but they don't have those same rights. And when tragically some of them come back in a coffin, the flag that drapes over that coffin not having a star, that's more than just symbolic. I mean, it's a real injustice that people are making this ultimate sacrifice, serving their country, and we don't have the same rights. And then as a senator, I can't do my job effectively to make sure they're safe, to weigh in on these decisions of war and peace, to make sure they're even adequately funded with resources like body armor, because we don't have a vote.
So I don't mean to be blunt here, but what is your role then if you're not able to vote?
Well, a lot of what I'm trying to do is to make sure that this untold story gets told, which is why we certainly appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk to your audience and talk to your viewers. We want to make sure that citizens of Iowa know that there's a group right out here where they could join Iowans for DC Statehood. We had a great event last night. I know you got some pictures, I think, of that.
Absolutely, and a website people can go to as well. So why, as Iowans, should we be passionate about what's happening in DC? Why is there a strong group here in Iowa that's behind what you're saying this morning, Senator?
I think the best way to explain it is that in this state, citizens have a unique and very strong sense of fair play. You have a sense of civic engagement. You know, in a lot of parts of the country, it's hard to just get people out to vote. And I've been impressed that in some of the most freezing temperatures I've ever seen, people not only get out to vote, but they'll drive, sometimes for miles, to meet with their fellow neighbors and caucus, and not just put a card in a ballot box, but to really debate and to engage. There's a passionate tradition of civic engagement here in Iowa that I think is offended by this inequality in our national government. And it has resonated with the people of Iowa in both parties. And the fact that all of these presidential candidates are coming here, you get a chance to really do this kind of retail shopping that many Americans don't. And the fact that you take that responsibility seriously, I think, is one of the things that has made this issue catch some attention here that it may not in some other parts.
So we could raise those issues when other presidential contenders are stopping by. We can ask these questions, but you posed these questions to a wonderful audience last night over at Grandview University. Talk a little bit about that event, what happened at the event, and then what we can do moving forward.
Well, leaders from the greater Des Moines area came in. We talked about the issues. Iowa citizens themselves were kicking off the event. There you have a picture. Yeah, a very dynamic state representative opened it off, got everybody inspired. Tamara Harrison, our executive director, talked about how she came to this issue, renewed her commitment, and is planning a whole bunch of activities throughout the year as we gear up. A lot of questions and answers, a lot of very informed and intelligent discussion about the issue. People want to educate themselves on it. And then some surprise that two of Iowa's new representatives, particularly Cynthia Axney, who I know has constituents in your viewing audience, hasn't yet signed on to co-sponsor our DC Statehood bill. So she was a supporter of a bill called H.R. 1 that had language which included support for DC Statehood. We know she's supports it, but we'd like her to become a co-sponsor. Right now, our bill, conveniently named or numbered H.R. 51 for the 51st state, has 201 co-sponsors. But in the House of Representatives, the magic number is 218. And so we are just a few shy from that number.
Okay, so what's going to happen? Say you get to 219. Okay.
219.
So you get to 219, then what's the next step? And how soon do we put an additional star on the flag?
Well, I think the next step would be that we could get a vote in the House of Representatives. Once you can reach that threshold number and show the Speaker and the leadership that you've got the numbers to get your bill passed. Then it's going to go to the Senate, where admittedly we're going to have a little bit of a tougher haul. But right now we want to get over the speed bump. We want to make sure that Congressman Axne joins the bill as a co-sponsor. We're going to make sure that Representative Finkenauer joins her so that we have majority support here from the Iowa congressional delegation. That'll mean a lot to us. And then, again, every presidential candidate and the world media is really going to be focusing on your caucus process. And I was surprised initially, I always thought of it as sort of the horse race, but a lot of issues are discussed in those caucuses. It's really an opportunity for citizens to come together and engage on issues important to their community. And we need you to take that opportunity and engage on something important to our community in D.C. because it's really important to our national community. If you had an orchestra and you wouldn't let the violins play, you're not really punishing the string section. You're diminishing the quality of the music overall. And in our democracy, if you're not letting all of our voices be heard, we're diminishing the reservoir of ideas that we need right now as we're confronting some very, very serious problems in our society.
Absolutely, and it's important to keep everyone out there educated, so we appreciate you stopping by and seeing us this morning. We mentioned the Iowans for Statehood, a website that we encourage you to check out and get more information, but if they want to learn more about you, Senator, they can also visit your website.
They sure can. Well. I'm paulstrauss.org. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @sendpaulstrauss. Please, and if you're visiting Washington, come say hi. We'd love to see you.
He'll take you out for
love our
coffee.
city.
He'll show you where the coffee machine is, okay?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Great to see you, Senator. Thank you for joining us this morning.